For this week's assignment, I interviewed Paul Sarnes, who is the AVP of Safety, Security, and Emergency Preparedness at Virtua Health System, which is located in southern New Jersey. What scares him the most is that one half of all assaults that occur happen in healthcare. In regard to disaster management, emergency response, and possibly handling terrorist activities, what's the most frightening to him is how close we are to large cities that have large targets. As George Washington said, New Jersey is a keg tapped at both ends. We're close to Philadelphia and close to New York. We are basically squished between two important cities. New Jersey also has a high Muslim population, and a recent article stated that New Jersey is at highest risk for homegrown terrorists. Also, most terrorists in New York City are from North Jersey. Also, our proximity to 295 and the Turnpike frightens him in regards to mass casualty pileups or tanker spills. Paul feels that Virtua is very well prepared. We take part in exercises, drills, and have created policies and procedures around anything and everything. When it comes to the communities that Virtua serves, they all have different levels of preparedness. New Jersey is decentralized, which puts us in a vulnerable state, because no matter how much we are prepared as a health system, the state is diverse. Not one person is dictating a central way to do it. And since Virtua is located in a lot of counties in New Jersey, we need to make sure that we have a great relationship with each county and make sure we have public and private partnerships, because each county's preparedness are different and definitely not similar to each other. Some of the preparatory measures that need to be done to maintain safety and organizational integrity during an event is by pre-planning, such as with policies and exercises. And also with healthcare, there's tons of redundancies. Hospital systems need to make sure that they have secondary and backup systems in place, such as for communications, equipment, utilities, power, water. They have to make sure that they have backups and even backups to that backup. Also, it's very important to have public and private partnerships. Paul said that within his cell phone, he can pull up directors of OEM and any county's emergency preparedness or institutions. He makes sure he has a good relationship with each, so that way they're very well prepared. If any event is to happen, they know who to contact and how to get help. Also, with vendors and supply companies, they need to have relationships with people who can do water removal, smoke damage, be able to call somebody to fix a water main break at any hour of the night, and to have building and contractors for any emergent need. There are many opportunities that the community can do to become involved with and even train for emergency preparedness and management. The CERT and MRC teams are all volunteer run, and it involves training and performing exercises and drills about emergency management and what to do as a first responder, and they also hold educational opportunities open to the public. Also, Boy and Girl Scouts are another good way for the community to become involved with, because there are badges where they're being taught about emergency preparedness. Within the next 5 years, emergency management will be better and stronger. More technology and advanced technology will be utilized, such as with drones and robots. Computer technology, especially GPS, was non-existent years ago, but now with Google Earth and Maps, it can support emergency management. Most agencies and firefighters have drones already. It helps assess damages and the situation before sending in humans, which increases the safety for our first responders. Paul is also looking at an app for phones for their home care employees. With that app, the employee can turn it on/off if they're on and off duty, and that employees can send messages such as being in danger or having an issue with their car, such as if it breaks down. The app can also send messages to the users, letting them know if a situation has occurred, any safety issues, or any road closures they need to be aware of. Virtua home care employees drive and take care of patients in Camden, which is a very dangerous area in the state, which worries Paul because anything can happen there. So he wants to make sure that he has a good line of communication with these individuals in areas that something can happen. On another note, by having a Republican government, there'll be more support for safety, military, and law enforcement with less regulation from regulatory bodies. So they'll be taking a more conservative, supportive role, which allows the health system to sort of do their own thing. There are many challenges in regards to not just disaster mental health, but mental health in general. There are not enough mental health professionals anywhere in the state. Also, in the state of New Jersey, there are many rural areas in the counties which Virtua serves, and there are definitely not enough resources. Even some of the fire departments are volunteer run, so they don't have resources or set skills in dealing with disasters. There's also not enough contracts or funding for contracts to get outside resources in, and there's a lack of funding for training and resources. All of these are major challenges in regards to disaster mental health. First of all, acknowledging that there's a need to bring in outside people for mental health of employees is very important. Also, for disaster mental health, it needs to be dictated. It needs to be incorporated in national response plans and the incident command system. In a job description for the incident command system, they do have an action to monitor the well-being of staff and stress management for employees, but recognition, it really needs to be part of everybody's job action sheet. Also, they need to incorporate the expectation that the command staff will monitor the staff and victims and recognize the need to provide resources, especially compassion fatigue for the first responders. They can utilize therapy dogs, psychological first aid, and even involve mental health professionals. Some of the key stakeholders in the community revolves around the fire department, police department, EMS, public health department, the volunteer organizations I discussed before, CERT and MRC, and hospitals and medical professionals. They play an integral role in emergency preparedness and disaster management because they are the frontline people. They are the people providing services, the follow-up services. All that, they need to play a huge role in all of this. Also, all businesses are stakeholders because their goal is to make money. If a disaster happens, they're going to have to close down. They don't want to do that because they'll lose money. And most of the lost revenue is a main component of why a business is not being able to open their doors back up after something like this. There are three main things that local leaders can do to become more involved in emergency preparedness and response concerning mental health. First of all, they need to do a gap analysis to see what is available, what they have, what they need to create. Next is to get involved with their counties, see what's out there, talk to people, see how well people are prepared, see what training needs to go on. And third of all, most employees have employee assistance programs, but now not all companies provide insurance. They need to identify resources, public or private, for the people for mental health. There are many positive social changes that can be accomplished when disaster mental health is integrated within the community. First of all, awareness. The more you talk about it, the more you're aware and equipped for what's going on. It'll help decrease the stigma of mental health. And also recognition, an increased recognition that there is a need for mental health and the need for a mental health response plan for victims and first responders. With my interview with Paul Sarnese, there's a few things that kept circling and kept coming back. The first one is not everyone has industry requirements or emergency preparedness, especially experience with. With healthcare, CMS and the Joint Commissions require hospitals to make resources available to their staff, but other organizations don't. So that leaves a huge gap, especially when it comes to mental health and resources for their employees. Another one is emergency management needs funding. Each county has a different level of response and different levels of expertise. And also the level of preparedness is correlation to how much money the county has. So the counties really need more funding and a need to structure for areas lacking.